Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of leaks to be talking about. But before we hop into that and this just massive amount of info drop that we are about to get here for Pokemon Unite, please be sure to go follow elchicoeevee on Twitter. All of this information is going to be coming from him. And well, these videos quite simply would not be possible without elchicoeevee giving us all of this information. So yeah, go follow him on Twitter. So let's go ahead and talk about a lot of the stuff. We now know that we are going to have 3 new defenders and a new attacker, and we're going to be talking about that as well as some balance changes and even some new items that are going to be coming very soon to the public test server and eventually, hopefully, into actual Pokemon Unite. So yeah, we know the next few months of content, which I guess some people might not like, but it doesn't really ruin the hype for me. In fact, it makes it cooler for me. So let's go ahead and talk about it. As you can see, Goodra and Lapras are now available to play, as well as some balance in the public test servers. So, changes to existing Pokemon. We have Gardevoir, Delphox, Tyranitar, Urshifu, Trevenant, Wigglytuff, Dragonite, Talonflame, Espeon, and Comfey's moves to adjust the balance of Pokemon Unite battles in the public test. So a lot of Pokemon getting changes. And last one, Zoroark is also having some changes to its stats and moves. So a ton of Pokemon getting some balance changes. So just off the top of my head, if I had to guess, I would imagine Gardevoir might be getting a small nerf to its cooldowns or its damage. Delphox is definitely getting nerfs to its cooldowns for sure. Tyranitar, I would hope it would be nerfs, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Stone Edge get buffed because Stone Edge is really, really, really bad. The rest of the Tyranitar's kit is already incredible. So it could be like a give and a take, and all of these could be like a give and a take. Like parts of their kits could be nerfed while other parts are buffed, but I guarantee you there's gonna be, like, if Tyranitar is getting any sort of buff, it'll be to Stone Edge. Delphox is absolutely getting Mystical Fire nerfed, and definitely is not charge nerf. Urshifu, if I had to guess, more nerfs, probably to Wicked Blow damage, I would imagine, and maybe even to the resets of Water Bear already. Water Bear feels, I don't want to say overtuned, but maybe a little bit overtuned. Eldegoss, probably nerfs to maybe its shielding, maybe its auto attacks. I don't know. I don't think Eldegoss really needs a nerf. I think it's still, like, I think Eldegoss is fine. It's really, really good, but I think a lot of the supports are just as good, if not better. Honestly, better. Trevenant, probably going to be buffs to Pain Split, maybe. I don't know. Wigglytuff, damage buff, maybe. I don't know. The Wigglytuff is a scary one because you could totally overbuff Wigglytuff very easily because Wigglytuff is not that bad. Dragonite, maybe a buff to Extreme Speed. I don't know. Doubtful because, yeah, maybe a buff to Outrage because it's the worst moveset in the game. I said it. Talonflame absolutely needs damage buffs. Talonflame is terrible. Espeon, I could see Espeon getting a buff. I don't think Espeon's very good. I know some people are very high on Espeon. It has a point-click stun, which is good. That's the only good thing about the kit is Psyshock. That's the only good thing the Pokemon has, which is a good thing to have, but that's the only thing good about Espeon. So probably a buff to Espeon, and then Comfey will also be getting probably a few buffs because it needs a little bit more healing, I think. So I honestly don't think Comfey is too far off from being very, very broken. So we have to be really careful with Comfey, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got some sizable buffs. And then Zoroark is absolutely going to be having its attack damage lowered, potentially even its Faint Attack build nerfed a little bit. I know it's weird to nerf Zoroark, a Pokemon that has a really, really bad win rate, but Faint Attack Zoroark is doing just absolutely stupid things in the hands of very good players in tournaments, so it wouldn't totally shock me to see Zoroark getting a small nerf to damage or a small nerf to Faint Attack even. All right, and if we head on over here, we now know that the other 2 Pokemon, so we have Lapras, Goodra, Umbreon, and Chandelure, the other 2. 3 defenders and 1 attacker. So the big news here is that Umbreon is going to break the mold of all EVs being attackers, and Umbreon will be a defender, and Chandelure is going to be a, just a range mage attacker, I would imagine. I think Chandelure is going to be really cool. Umbreon's going to be really cool. We don't know a lot about the moves for Umbreon and Chandelure yet. Go follow elchicoeevee. He's going to be leaking more throughout the day. I'm just going off what we have right now, which we know all of Lapras. We know Goodra's moves, and we know everything about Lapras. You can see the YouTube link. We have a video of Lapras. We have a video of Chandelure, but it doesn't really show much because it's very laggy PTS. But yeah, we now have a 4 out of 5 Eevee team, and it's going to be incredibly cringe when people run that because, well, triple attackers never good. So give us the support EV so we can at least make EV teams somewhat balanced. Can we do that? That'd be pretty cool. Now we're going to get Jolteon next, and it's going to be triple attacker, speedster, defender, and it's going to be a horrible team comp, but you never really know. Anyway, next thing we have here is, just some nice little pictures of our Lapras and our Goodra. There's your thumbnail, probably. I don't know, maybe. We also have a few images of Goodra, Gumi, and Sliggoo. So we see Gumi with a little bubble, kind of cute. See Sliggoo there with, I believe that would be Muddy Water, maybe? I don't know. And some sort of Dragon Pulse. If you're wondering why I have elchicoeevee muted, it's because the man retweets incessantly, and I don't care about stuff that isn't Pokemon Unite. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't think that's wrong. But I do want to have the man followed. Anyway, we see some. This is Power Whip. We know it is Gumi chasing down a Lucario. We know this is Acid Spray as well, and then I believe this is Unite move. Not sure what it does, but looks like it's a rain dance. Obviously, if you don't know, Goodra has to evolve in the rain, so I imagine it might be just some sort of like mass cleanse, potentially even an AoE cleanse for its teammates that could be really, really good. But I imagine it's some sort of cleanse / unstoppable. Maybe it does a little bit of damage, but I think it's probably a buffing Unite rather than a damage Unite. So that could make sense. And then we move along to some Lapras. This is Whirlpool, which Lapras looks really, 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 really good, by the way. I think Lapras is going to be insane. This is Water Pulse, and Water Pulse is nuts, dude. Parasong, also nuts. I have bad feelings about Lapras. I think Lapras is going to be crazy. We have Ice Shard, we have Bubble Beam, and we have Ice Beam. And then this last one is its Unite move, which is very interesting, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Next to the one, we have a little bit of Umbreon in game. Looks like it has Shadow Ball and Sing or something. That could be true or could not be true. Who knows? Next up, we have 2 new items, Rescue Hood and Slick Spoon. We already knew about these, and we're going to be very, 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 very good if they work as they're reading. They could also be completely undertuned. Like we thought Drain Crown was going to be insane. Drain Crown ended up being pretty bad. But Rescue Hood increases recovery effect by blank and shield effect by blank when they're granted to an ally Pokemon. So Rescue Hood feels like you're just going to be healing and shielding a lot more, because that's what we need. Just give Clefable and Blissey even more healing. And then Slick Spoon is going to be absolutely insane, depending on the percent of this ignore. So it makes damage dealt by your Pokemon special attacks ignore blank of opposing Pokemon's SPDF. So I would imagine it's going to be like a percentage. So say 10%, 5%, or 5, 10, 15%, depending on the level of you have the item on. So yeah, I think Slick Spoon has the potential to be unbelievable. Just ignoring SPDF rather than just raising your special attack is, I don't know. It's going to be really good. It's going to be really, really good, I think. And then here are the move sets for Lapras and Goodra. So basic deck, we have Bubble, Muddy Water, Dragon Pulse, Muddy Water Plus. So this is Goodra, and then Dragon Pulse Plus. So it's Dragon Pulse and Muddy Water, and then we have Power Whip and Acid Spray. Its Unite move is Right as Rain. So yeah, that really does sound like some sort of cleanse rather than a a damage thing. And then we have for Lapras, I guess we could just hop into the Lapras video. Gonna make sure this is muted because I assume this is copyright free, but you never really know. Either way, Lapras' passive is Shell Armor. If the Pokemon takes damage from a single attack that exceeds a set percentage of its max HP, that damage will be reduced. So essentially, you're just always taking reduced damage. You're very resistant to burst damage, which sounds insane. I think Lapras, spoiler alert, it's gonna make Freeze Lane. It's basically just another freeze lane when we get to its ice moveset, and it gets a freeze move at level 1 either way. Lapras is going to be nuts. Lapras is going to be crazy. Next up, we have its basic attack. So it becomes a boosted basic attack with every 3rd attack, launching a blast of water in front of the user. Also, I should have mentioned it's ranged and it's intermediate. And it's also special attack based. We probably could have figured. You guys probably could have figured that. But it's basic attack. If the blast hits an opposing Pokemon, it deals damage to them and restores the user's HP. So every boosted, it heals itself. Oh, that's already so good on every other Pokemon that has healing on its basics. On Garchomp, I think a lot of Pokemon do have that. but Garchomps is the one that came to mind. Cinderace has it if you run Faint late game. That's another one. The Decidueye has it just naturally. So yeah, any Pokemon that has just healing on its basics or boosted basics is very good, and having it on a defender is going to be insane. And defender that already takes reduced damage, yeah, you can see where this can get crazy. So Whirlpool, this is one of its starting moves, has the user create a Whirlpool centered on itself that lasts for a short time, dealing damage over time to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. The time between hits is shorter the farther opposing Pokemon are from the Whirlpool's center. So you want to hit people on the edge of your Whirlpool, so be able to do more damage to them. So rather than in Cram, where you cast the Whirlpool away from you, you cast the Whirlpool from the center of you. So it's going to be very good early game. Could be very solid for anti-stacking purposes. That's pretty cool and pretty cringe because, well, stacking is kind of bad at the moment because people don't let you stack. This everything here. Oh no, we skip Water Pulse. So Water Pulse has the user release a pulse of water centered on itself that spreads out, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits and decreasing their movement speed. So it slows. That's crazy. For each opposing Pokemon hit by a pulse from this move, an additional pulse will be released the next time this move is used, up to a total of 2 extra pulses. So the more people you hit, the more you get to use it next time. It stacks. It's going to be crazy good. After this first pulse, after activating this move, hits an opposing Pokemon. What? After the first pulse, after activating this move, hits an opposing Pokemon. Okay, that makes sense. The user's next basic attack becomes a boosted. So you get a boosted from hitting someone with it. And then your upgraded version, so this is the tree from Whirlpool, you can stack an additional time. So yeah, you're just going to be constantly casting extra, pulses and slowing people. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And AoE slow, nice. Very good, very good. And then the other move set is going to be Pear Song, and oh my god. They gave it Tyranitar Unite move on a cooldown. Obviously, it's not going to be as good, and I imagine the threshold for it will be super, super low, but the fact that it has that on cooldown is a defender is pretty freaking insane. So, Perish Song has the user sing an eerie melody that echoes around it, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon it hits. This move can be used up to 3 times consecutively within a set time, and opposing Pokemon hit all 3 times take additional damage. Opposing Pokemon that take this additional damage will be knocked out if their HP falls below a set percentage of their max HP. So you can just boom, 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 and press it. It's going to be a crazy good secure, I would imagine. It's going to be a very good, it may not secure on wild Pokemon, but it's going to be very good at securing KOs on enemies, just in the midst of team fights. Perish Song could be crazy. And then the upgrade is you just get a boosted attack after using it, which is really good. I like that. That's very good. And then the other moveset is going to be Ice Shard. So this is where the freeze lane aspect of this Pokemon comes into play. Has the user hurl chunks of ice in a forward direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon they hit and leaving them frozen for a short time. If this move hits an opposing Pokemon that is already frozen, it deals damage to it and shoves it. So get yourself an Alolan Ninetales. Shoot, get yourself a Mamoswine, because Mamoswine's kind of an all-arounder anyway. Freeze everything, shove things, make people's lives miserable. Oh my god. And that's not even the best part of this, because, well, that's just the first move. We have Bubble Beam, has the user, or no, that's still Ice Shard. Where's Bubble Beam? Where's Bubble Beam? There's Bubble Beam. Grants the user a shield, has the user spray bubbles in a designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits. After the bubbles fly a set distance, they slowly float for a short time. Opposing Pokemon hit by a floating bubble are enveloped by it and left unable to act for a short time. So it does damage, then stuns people. It's not like, boom, you get hit and stunned at the same time. No, you get hit, take the damage, and then later you get stunned. It's gonna be crazy. Upgrade strengthens the effects of the shield granted by this move. This Pokemon feels like it'd be a really good stacker as well, just based on the amount of shields it gets. Oh my god. Lapras is gonna be, I think, unkillable. It doesn't really have recovery the same way like something like a Trevenant or a actually it does with its boosted basics and its passive. Does passive heal? I want to say its passive heals a little bit, right? No, it doesn't, but it's boosted basics, dude. So stuff from muscle band on this thing. Yeah, Lapras is crazy. And then finally we have, well, not finally, finally for its attacks, we have Icy Beam. Has the user unleash an icy cold beam of energy in the designated direction, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon it hits and freezing the ground. Opposing Pokemon on the frozen ground take damage over time and have their move speed decreased, and they become frozen if they remain on the frozen ground for a set amount of time. When the user is on the frozen ground, its movement speed is increased, so you have mobility too. Oh my goodness. Why? Lapras is going to be so good, guys. Fair warning, it could also be really bad, but it sounds like this Pokemon is going to be crazy. Increases the length of time opposing Pokemon are frozen on the upgrade, which, why not? Why not? And then finally, we have its Unite move, which is going to be called Lapras Express. If you've seen some of the other leaks and some of the other videos talking about the leaks, you know that, we could potentially ride a Pokemon, and this is that. So, Lapras Express has the user ride a wave quickly and continuously forward. The user's movement speed increases while riding, but decreases if the user hits an obstacle. So if you run into a wall or something, you probably just get fully stopped like you do with anything in this game when you hit a wall. If the user hits an opposing Pokemon, the user stops in place, dealing damage and throwing the opposing Pokemon. So it's going to be very good for displacement. While the user is riding the wave, one nearby ally Pokemon of the user's choice can ride on its back. I'm not sure how that will work. Maybe it'll just be a button you have to press. I'm not really sure. If this move is used again, the user stops and launches a wave that continues moving forward. So you can just sort of launch it and, deal with it. Dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits and throwing them. So you don't even have to ride it. You can just sort of throw it. That can be really good for just pushing people off an objective. Maybe even secure. It sounds like it would be a pretty good secure. Ice sounds like it'll be a good secure. We already talked about Parasong potentially being a really good secure if it works on, objectives. That could be crazy. Like imagine just throwing this into Ray Pit, having people get pushed off, ice beaming the ground as you follow it up. So not only are they getting pushed by your night move, they're getting frozen by ice beam, and then you spam Parasong, and maybe everything's dead. That's just a crazy combo. And then finally, ally Pokemon riding on the user's back can dismount whenever they choose. I imagine the riding aspect probably won't be too useful. Like maybe you can, I don't know, just off the top of my head, like, can you use moves while you're doing it? Because if you could, bring a Decidueye Unite with you or something stupid like that, or maybe you could Machamp Unite, press the Unite. You know how you have to, Unite move twice on Machamp or press the button twice. So maybe you press it the first time, ride the waves to get a little extra distance on it, and then jump off, ready to press the punch of Machamp's Unite. Something like that could be cool. If you're allowed to press buttons during it, like maybe even getting in position with, any sort of secure. I doubt you'll be able to press buttons, but either way, it could be good for, just maneuvering one ally around the battlefield, or even more so and more likely what it'll be used for is to get an ally out in situations like that. I think that's probably more of the use you'll get out of, riding on this thing, but you could also use it offensively. I could see areas where that will be good. But guys, that is what we have so far for these leaks. So we have, just to recap, bunch of nerfs and buffs coming, bunch of balance changes coming to certain Pokemon, and we have 4 new Pokemon, 3 defenders and 1 attacker, Lapras, Goodra, Umbreon, and Chandelure. And let me know what you think of all of these leaks. Let me know which character you're most excited to play. Let me know how crazy you think Lapras is going to be, or if I'm just going crazy, if I'm tripping. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's a good time to be a Pokemon Unite fan. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.